Today, I want to talk about what exactly is it that they love and what do we love about short-term rentals.
So you can control other people's properties without having to own them. And in a lot of cases, you're actually going to be earning more income on a cash flow basis than the person that owns the house themselves, which I know sounds utterly crazy, but it's absolutely true.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed YouTube channel. This is where we talk all things cash flow maximization. One of the hottest subjects over the past 20 months has been short-term rentals and generating short-term rental income. One of the best things I ever did in my life was to acquire short-term rental property. In doing so, I sought out the help of a lot of experts, and that led me to Michael and Katrina, who I've had the privilege of having here on the channel. Make sure you check those out. They've done some spectacular things. They broke $1 million in income in only 2 years in the business, and now they're showing other people how to do the exact same thing through their coaching. And so if you guys do want any help, guidance, assistance, they're more than happy to punctually interact with you guys. They do that through a consultation. They've been terrific with our audience thus far. I've heard no complaints whatsoever. Everybody has just thought they're completely fantastic. And so you can reach out to BNB Bootcamp at VIPfinancialeducation.com. It's officially the longest email address in the history of emails. And I'll put it in the description for you so that you get all the spelling correct. So reach out to them. Again, no pressure, no obligation. We actually spent a little time before we jumped on camera today just talking about how people have to be the right candidate to succeed in business. And if you don't succeed, they don't succeed. This is not this works for one side, but doesn't have to work for both. It has to work for both for this to work. So they will talk you out of it if they see signs of this not being a good fit for you. With that in mind, today I want to talk about what exactly is it that they love and what do we love about short-term rentals. We're also going to make a series to this. It'll be a 2-part series where we also discuss what we hate about short-term rentals. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and stay tuned for the notification on that video dropping as well. So today, let's talk about what we love about short-term rental, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's always wonderful to see you two.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate it.
What would be the number one reason that sort of drew you to short-term rentals?
Yeah, so I mean, the number one and most obvious reason we love short-term rentals is cash flow. I can give you an example. We do have a short-term rental in our basement. I have a basement suite, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it pays for my entire house. Not just mortgage, but utilities, like everything, keeping the lights on. So I can live in my house for free with my basement suite.
That's so incredible. That's similar to mine too. Ours pays for everything from our utilities to our amenities too. So we have all of our toilet paper, paper towels, Q-tips, cotton balls, lotion, shampoos, conditioners. It's all part of the Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
So it just happens to be there when I'm staying in it.
It's a write-off.
It's what we call lifestyle assets, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to live and enjoy the things in your life that you want. You want the house behind you. It looks beautiful. I've noticed it every time. I love that chandelier.
Thank you.
But it doesn't, it finds a way to pay for itself, right? It's a kind of modern house hack.
Yes.
Very much so, yeah. But just even more so nowadays with how much income potential you can make. When I had my first home, I was doing a version of house hacking, you could say. Like I had a couple of roommates that would contribute towards the mortgage and, did that for a number of years. But as soon as we came across short-term rentals, just the income potential compared to, some more traditional options, which just wasn't even comparable. So.
Yeah, I think with Michael's house now, when we had a long-term renter in there, we were getting about $1,800 a month with a long-term renter. Yeah. Then when we changed it over, it can range anywhere from about $4,000 to $7,000 a month, coming from the same property.
The exact same property. Yeah.
So it is definitely a cash flow opportunity, and you don't have to own. I guess that's my second point about why we love short-term rentals is you really don't have to own it as well. Any ones that you do have in your portfolio is great, but you don't have to own it. You can actually do rental arbitrage or partnerships as well.
You guys are blowing my mind here, okay? What are you trying to convince me of? You're right, snake oiling me into thinking that I don't have to have a 30-year mortgage to actually make all this cash flow? I don't have to deal with the roof when it needs to be replaced? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
So you can control other people's properties without having to own them. And in a lot of cases, you're actually going to be earning more income on a cash flow basis than the person that owns the house themselves, which I know sounds utterly crazy, but it's absolutely true. Because
you guys have 2 houses you own.
Yeah.
And how many houses that other people own that you control?
21.
21.
And you started all this from scratch, right? got into real estate investing sort of by accident because you each owned a property, you ended up together, and then those were the two properties that you actually formally had purchased.
Yes, that's correct.
Ever since then, it's just been, how do we partner with actual homeowners to control their properties? You're doing it with total integrity and transparency. This isn't something where you're doing it behind their back and you're subletting it without having the conversation. This is an agreement between you and the homeowner, right?
Yes. And it's an agreement. It's completely transparent. And the reason is, like you said earlier, it's a win-win for both parties. So really, we are offering a service. You're professionally cleaning their places multiple times a week. You're making sure that they have consistent income coming in every month directly into their bank account. And you're also you have a handyman on your team. So anything that's small, like patch and paint, or even leaky toilets or light bulbs, we take care of it all. So it really takes a landlord's property to become completely passive.
On my way to the rental property again, folks. This is supposedly passive income. Passive.
So you're offering an amazing service to them.
Yeah, I mean, people that have never owned rental real estate before, they don't necessarily understand like the harsh realities of having a rental property at times.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You know,
let me tell you something. I'm not sure I've ever heard of one of my long-term rental properties having ever been professionally cleaned outside of move in, move out in 20 years of real estate investing. The idea of having one of my properties professionally cleaned where it's presentation ready, right? People have to be able to walk in and within the first 5 seconds of being there, feel happy about their decision to stay at your property, right? So this has to be really clean, really presentable. The carpets can't have stains. And wouldn't you believe it? Some of my tenants leave stains on my carpet.
No way.
I know, isn't that crazy? So I could see the appeal. So are you actually pursuing, and this is a little off topic, but I am curious, are you pursuing long-term landlords and suggesting the short-term strategy where you'll sort of turnkey it for them? Or are you approaching short-term landlords and trying to take that responsibility off of their plate? Who are you looking for?
Yeah.
So we've had, I would say, more people in the first group, like you mentioned. Like that's how we really got our business started, was going after and targeting people that had properties for rent or even for sale in some cases, and just basically made the offer and suggestion to them that, look, I mean, I know you're asking for this much for the property each month, but you know, if you were to actually partner up with us versus going with a long-term tenant, not only would we make sure you're paid on time every month automatically into your account, but again, your place will get cleaned multiple times a week. We have a handyman on our team that's going to take care of all the minor maintenance, because I mean, really what we've kind of discovered, and you know, being landlords ourselves in the past, they really only care about three things. It's paid on time, property treated well, and you're not a pain in the you know what to work with. So
ass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure I want to follow everything here. So let's talk about, you got any other reasons why the short-term rental business, because you're obviously talking about a different version of short-term renting than what I did. If I could go back and do it over again with the same amount of money, I could have 10 times the results. And there's a lot of argument where I should have. Now, because of a lot of sentimentality and the emotional momentum behind the decision to buy the property and our attachment to, we wanted to own it. So would I go back and do it differently? I'm not sure, but I do know that after now knowing about this, it's not an easy choice. It's not so black and white. I would be almost foolish not to do it your way from the beginning. So tell me, what else is there behind this that has caused you to fall in love with it?
Yeah. So, I mean, when we had started our short-term rental business, we did go after long-term, I guess, rental properties that were on there. And we did something called rental arbitrage, where we would rent the property, flip it over to Airbnb, then make up the difference after the rent was paid. And we had no prior real estate experience before this. We had full-time jobs. I used to work for a local municipality in economic development, and Michael used to be a finance trader
well, I used to work as a currency trader in finance. So,
and we both had full-time jobs for like the first year of our business, and we had no prior experience. We just wanted to really have cash flow on our own, create something that was ours that we could control. And it really did benefit during even the pandemic, because Michael's own job like ended up going out of business during the pandemic. So good thing we had our own short-term rental business that we could rely on and really go full time. So I think that's a big thing and misconception. Like a lot of people think you have to have some kind of real estate or understanding. Anyone can get into this, because it's just your mindset of that you're offering a service here, and it's a win-win situation for both you and the landlord. And it's just a different mindset going into it.
Yeah. That's great. And so just so people kind of have a refresher of something we touched on in the first interview I did with you, first year, you guys really grounded out. I mean, it was like hard work, long days, real consistent effort. As of second year coming into the most recent months, your time obligation to this has really dwindled down to a couple of hours, few hours a day, right? So there is a fairly rapid momentum that can be picked up here, comparable to other businesses, in my opinion. But to come in and expect that you can accomplish this without a lot of effort on the front end is total fantasy, right? I mean, we cannot try to manipulate people into thinking that there wasn't a tremendous amount of work that went into this. Same with mine. I mean, it was countless hours, but so much of it didn't feel like work because I was so hyped on it. I was like waking up super excited. I couldn't sleep at night. I would go to bed super excited. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So it didn't feel that much like work, but arguably I put in more hours with that than I was putting in other businesses at the time. And I'm still gaining a lot of that momentum, right? And so I think you guys had spelled that out originally. I just wanted to make sure that we called back to that because it's important for people to know this is not going to be an easy first year.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely work involved in this. So, this isn't one of these, spectacular opportunities where all you have to do is click a couple buttons on a keyboard, 1 hour a week, and then all of a sudden you're going to be an overnight millionaire. That's usually the only people that do well at those are the ones peddling the courses, suggesting that's possible, which in most cases, it's not.
But you did touch on a good point. It is front loaded. So starting up a property, it is a lot of work to get it, furnished and get all the little details set up. But once it's set up, it really does run itself. And so something you touched.
Becoming autonomous too, which gives us the ability to travel too a lot. And, we can basically be anywhere. And that was another prerequisite of mine for any business I'm contemplating. I'm looking for 7-figure potential. This is a great way, even if you only want $5,000 more a month, right? Even if you want 100,000 a year, or even if you want 10,000 a month, this business can get you there. But if you want to blow this up to, unimaginable levels, that's completely doable. You guys have shown that. That's prerequisite 1 for me. Prerequisite 2 for me, and really this is the first one, is lifestyle compatibility. That's being able to go anywhere and leave anytime and stay as long as I want. And the Airbnb business model, short-term rentals, has afforded us the chance to do that in a very systematic way because things are so process-oriented. And that's what I'm picking up every time we talk. It's like you guys are developing these processes that make this something that runs itself. It's very machine-like, and it gives you guys as much freedom as you want. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like once you start the business and you start getting some of the systems, automations, and team members in place, I guess one of the other things we love about short-term rentals is that you can literally run this from anywhere in the world. So as long as you have a phone, a laptop, and an internet connection, I mean, you can literally do this while you're on the go, while you're traveling.
Yeah. And actually, even so with our systems and automations, like let's say you were out of Wi-Fi for a moment, because typically when you're traveling, the systems and automations take care of it. And, we had to learn through that with our own mistakes. Like we were out at a lake in British Columbia and there was no reception for 4 hours, and it happened to be a long weekend. And we had 4 bookings come in on one place. And what happened is everyone showed up to that one place, and we were out of reception at a lake. And we said, you know what, we need to figure this out. And we implemented softwares, automation, so this never happens again. So when one person books, they only get the instructions, and everything else is blocked immediately on all our different platforms. So it's very crucial to have these in place, especially when you want to scale, but the business is highly scalable for sure.
Another major reason to obviously love short-term rentals is scalability and being able to just replicate, right? Just wash, rinse, and repeat. Can you grow it from anywhere, or is it just simply manageable from anywhere?
Both.
Yeah. So what we usually recommend for folks just getting started is, like, if we can start in our backyard or close to it, that's preferable, just to get some experience and understand how the processes work and how you can kind of get the business going. So we're in Edmonton, Alberta, so we're in Canada here, but we just actually set up a property in Arizona, down in the Phoenix area there. So never seen it, never been there. It's a lovely property from what I can see in the pictures. But,
we can't even go there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you couldn't if you wanted to. But soon enough, right? Then it becomes a vacation spot for you.
Exactly.
This is like the modern version of what everybody thought timeshares were when they were spending way too much money and not getting what they thought. So this model seems phenomenal. And of course, anybody can do it on their own. That was one of the comments that we got on our last video, was somebody was saying, why don't I just do this by myself? Yes, by all means. You guys did it by yourselves, right?
Yeah, it just took 2 years.
Exactly. So if you guys like that sort of longer, bumpier road, then go for it. If you are the type of person that likes shortcuts and you understand returns on investments, then it might make sense to reach out to Michael and Katrina for the blueprint, so that you can bypass all of those bumps and bruises that they had to go through. So yeah, guys, email BNB Bootcamp at VIPfinancialeducation.com if you want that complimentary consultation. And again, that's a no pressure conversation. And make sure you stay tuned to the channel. We're going to be talking about why we hate short-term rentals on an upcoming video as well, because this is not all sunshine and rainbows. There are downsides to it. And we're going to dig into each of our versions of those downsides in that upcoming video. We also have a number of other amazing episodes that we're going to be releasing on this subject, including the numbers. We're going to break down the P's and L's. We're going to be talking about specific case studies. We're going to be talking about various scripts and conversations that they have with the homeowners. There's a lot of really powerful information to come. So drop a like on this video to show some love to Michael and Katrina. Email them, bnbbootcamp at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Guys, thank you again, as always, for joining us here on the channel. We really, really appreciate you and are always amazed by what you're doing.
Thanks, Matt. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
See you on the next one. Thanks.